Many people spend more time outdoors when the weather gets warmer. But how often do we stop to think about how to do this safely? In this short video, we'll cover the essentials of sun safety, what it means for your health, how to stay protected, and how employers can manage risks. Whether you work outside or just enjoy spending time in the sun, this is information everyone should know. We're going to take a look at the importance of daily sun protection in the UK, tips for protecting skin when outdoors, signs of skin damage and the value of skin checks, and how sun safety relates to skin health. Our attitude to sun safety has never been great. Studies show that many people in the UK underestimate the risks of sun exposure, even though the science is clear. Ultraviolet, or UV radiation, damages skin, and this leads to skin cancer risk. In the UK, melanoma cancer cases have been rising. Sun safety is far from a cosmetic issue. This is about serious and sometimes life-threatening diseases. What are the health risks of being exposed to the sun? The sun produces many different types of radiation. One type of radiation is called infrared radiation, and this provides heat. Another type of radiation is ultraviolet or UV radiation. While we can't see or feel UV radiation, it can lead to sunburn, skin cancer, and eye damage. What are the different types of skin cancer? There are different types of skin cancer, but we can broadly separate them into two groups. Melanoma skin cancer is less common but often more serious and can spread to other areas of the body. Non-melanoma skin cancer is a group of different skin cancers that start in the top layer of skin. Non-melanoma skin cancers are less likely to spread to other parts of the body, although this can still happen. The main types are called basal cell carcinoma, or BCC, and squamous cell carcinoma, or SCC. UV light, which comes from the sun and sunbeds, is the main cause of all skin cancers. What are the signs of skin cancer? Melanoma skin cancer tends to present as a new mole or a change in an existing mole, and it's more common in the sun-exposed areas, although rarer types can affect areas that are not sun-exposed, such as palms and soles. Melanoma tends to appear as an uneven shape with uneven edges, a mix of colours, and it may stand out from the other moles by being bigger or look swollen. It might be bleeding or feel itchy or be crusty. Non-melanoma skin cancer presents as a growth or an unusual patch of skin, and again, it's more common in the sun-exposed areas. And these types of cancers vary in colour, texture, and size. They can be flat or raised, they can be smooth or crusty, and again, they may have bleeding associated with them. Also, they may be itchy or present as a growth or texture change or even a colour change in an area of skin. So, how can you detect skin cancer? The answer is to check your skin. In terms of how to do this, dermatologists recommend using a full-length mirror and a handheld mirror and being in a room with good light, removing all of your clothes and checking all areas of skin, including on your ears, on your scalp by moving hair out of the way, under breasts, the genital area, palms, soles, finger and toenails. And when you're doing this, noting existing moles, the size, shape, colour, feel and texture of these moles. Doing this at least once per month. And in terms of thresholds for going to see your GP, if you notice anything unusual, anything that fits the description of the types of cancer we have discussed, or any changes from what you have noticed previously, these would all be reasons to go and see your GP about your skin. How does UV radiation cause skin cancer? Too much UV radiation from the sun or sunbeds can damage the DNA in our skin cells. DNA is the instruction manual for how cells function. And if DNA damage builds up over time, it can lead to cells growing out of control, which can lead to cancer. How do you know when you are exposed to harmful solar UV radiation? Solar UV radiation emitted by the sun is a known cause of skin cancer. You cannot see or feel it, and it does not correlate with temperature. It can also pass through light cloud. It can pass through loosely woven fabric too, and it can also bounce off surfaces like snow and water. The UV index is a useful way of describing the amount of solar UV radiation. It starts at 0 and increases as the UV radiation increases. When the UV index is at 3 or above, control measures should be used as the levels of solar UV radiation are strong enough to damage skin. For certain groups of people, such as those who spend lots of time working outdoors or work near surfaces that reflect UV radiation, control measures should be used even when the UV index is below 3. The UV index is often included in a day's weather forecast, and you can also look it up online. How can you reduce risk from UV radiation? In occupational health, we use a concept called the hierarchy of controls as a way of rating the most effective means of controlling hazards. With reducing risk from UV radiation, the most effective place to start would be to eliminate the risk altogether by moving whatever you're doing indoors, getting out of the sun. Next effective would be avoiding peak sun hours when outside, shifting working patterns to earlier in the morning or from the mid-afternoon onwards. It may also be possible to provide shaded areas to work outdoors and be sheltered from the sun that way. It's important for workers to be trained in managing risks from sun exposure. Finally, personal protective equipment, in this case that would include things like sun cream, hats and clothing, are also important. In general, the reason why these measures don't come top of the list is that as well as being less effective than staying out of the sun altogether, we aren't that good at being disciplined about using them. Therefore, all of these measures are important to protect us from the sun, and we should deploy as many of them as we can. Once again, all sun safety advice recommends staying out of the sun as much as possible as a first and most effective measure to take to protect your skin. In general, in the UK, UV radiation is strongest between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. from March to October. UV radiation can be strong enough to damage skin even on cloudy days or on days when it doesn't feel hot. The UV index and taking extra care on days where this is above 3 is a useful guide. What should you know about sunscreen choice? Sunscreen has different rating metrics. The Sun Protection Factor, or SPF rating, describes protection against UVB, and there's a separate UVA rating which is often indicated by stars on the sunscreen packet. When buying sunscreen, you should buy a product with a Sun Protection Factor, SPF, of at least 30 to protect against UVB, and at least a 4-star UVA protection. Some products will also be labelled with the letters UVA in a circle, and this indicates the UVA protection is at least a third of the SPF value, and also that meets EU recommendations. Sunscreens that offer both UVA and UVB protection are also sometimes referred to as broad spectrum. How should you apply sunscreen? Sunscreen should be applied to any exposed skin according to the product's instructions. As a general guide, this is ideally 30 minutes before going outside, then immediately again before going outside, and at least every 2 hours. If the sunscreen gets washed or dried off, for example, if you go into the water or you've been sweating, it needs to be applied again immediately, including if it is labelled as water resistant. Remember that water also reflects UV rays, which increases your exposure. It's also important to wear clothes that provide sun protection, such as a hat that shades the face, neck and ears, and long sleeve tops, trousers or skirts that are made of close weave fabrics. Sunglasses should have wide arms or have lenses that wrap around the side of the face, with the CE mark and the British Standard mark listed here, as these offer a safe level of UV protection. Who is at risk? UV risk is relevant to everyone regardless of skin colour. People of all skin tones can get skin cancer. There is no safe way to get a tan. A tan does not protect you against the harmful effects of UV radiation. People with pale skin, people with freckles, many moles, those who get easily sunburned, have a relevant family history, or spend lots of time in the sun must be extra careful. In the UK, employers have legal duties around sun safety. The Health and Safety at Work Act 1974 makes it clear that there's a legal duty on every employer to ensure, as far as reasonably practicable, the health and safety of their employees. And this includes sun safety. So if you're an employer, you should do a risk assessment around sun safety for your workforce and control the risks identified using the hierarchy of controls. While this is more relevant to workforces spending longer periods of time outside, it's relevant to all employers. Here's a reminder on how to approach reducing risk from UV radiation. Start by spending less time in the sun and always protect your skin from the sun. You can use the UV index as a guide to when more controls are necessary. Here's a summary of what we've covered today. We've spoken about the importance of daily sun protection in the UK, tips for protecting skin when outdoors. We've talked through early signs of skin damage and the value of skin checks, how to do this yourself every month, and how sun safety relates to skin health. Most of the information in this presentation has come from the NHS website and the Cancer Research UK website. Here are the links for further reading. Thanks for watching.